Hello, my name is Elizabeth Tefenksh and I'm a classical pianist and a piano teacher for many years. As many of you might already know, I have recently launched an online course called Studies for Advanced Piano Technique in an Approachable Manner. Embedded in my course is training the whole body for correct instrumental technique with Dr. John Maloney. I use the tools of imagery to describe different techniques on the piano and how to play correctly. And Dr. Maloney's portion, training the whole body, addresses strengthening the different muscle groups that we use to prevent injury and to increase stamina in performance. If you want more information on that, you can go to www.pianotechnique.guide. But in my course, I just didn't have enough time to address ear training. So we know ear training is very, very important. After all, a great musician is a great listener. So I decided to put on social media these little short segments of tools that you can use to help you listen better. We're going to begin with the understanding of the connection between visual harmony and colors and the connection of auditory harmony in colors, the connection between different pitches. Ear training tips, clues to better listening in color, the links of color and sound. As musical people, it's wonderful to experience everything we see or listen to in our day with as much fullness and enjoyment as possible. So let's talk about color and how we notice colors in the world around us. There have been studies on how the brain connects to sound as we listen and play our instrument. Well, there are also brain connections with our vision and color. Different colors have different ways of stimulating our brain. I think of them as color vibrations for our vision perception. These color vibrations reflect at different levels depending on the color we are seeing. Green, for example, is the color of life. It calms the spirit. Just a walk in the forest proves that very easily. The backstage green room in a concert hall is green for that very reason. Bright pink, on the other hand, hits the brain very strongly. Let's say it vibrates quickly and loudly on our brain's stimulation. One bright pink wall can make a whole room scream pink, even if the other colors are white. That's a brain thing, can't help it. Red brings energy, perhaps with thoughts of sharing, laughter, and a great meal with friends. Blue is peaceful, like the ocean and the sky. That would be the vibrations, the reflections, and influence of the singular notes of visionary color on our brain, let's say. We make an association of life experiences with the color, even without realizing it. Yet there are reflections from the light hitting the color also. Reflections. Let's go a step further to understanding the relationship of visionary color harmony and sound color harmony. In the study of physics and sound waves, certain notes played against each other create different moods. It happens naturally. The sound waves of different intervals are either relaxing or tension-driven, just like certain visionary colors next to each other can look pleasing or ugly. The sound waves of two notes can either run side by side or crash into each other. It's how they relate that makes us train our ears to listen deeply. A perfect fourth and a perfect fifth interval are perfect because their sound waves run next to each other perfectly in parallel lines. On the other hand, the minor second and the major seventh intervals clash dramatically. It's how the intervals naturally reflect on each other in waves, just like visionary color reflections. It's a natural thing. Why is the fifth chord built on the fifth scale tone from the first note of a particular scale, that tone center, the tonic? Why is it called the dominant chord, that fifth chord? Now, it's not a rule made by some guys with powdered wigs in a dark room in Europe 300 plus years ago who just decided to call the fifth dominant. No. It's physics. When a note is played on the piano, it's like a pebble thrown into the water and a ring of sound waves spread out. The string vibrates as it is struck or plucked, and then the sound waves spread out. The next string that vibrates with that string outside of the octave above is the fifth above. That's called sympathetic vibrations. Listen to the fifth interval playing it upward and then downward. For example, that would be C to G and G to C. Done. Sounds final. Finished. Now play the fourth interval upward and then the fourth interval downward. That's the subdominant, which vibrates a little less in the sympathetic vibrations. That would be C to F, for example, and F to C. Now listen. It's almost there, and open sounding as the dominant, just a bit dull. The thirds and the sixths intervals are next in the ring of vibrating sound outward, that sympathetic vibration. They sound sweet and pretty. They are peaceful sounding sound waves as they reflect against each other. Then the seconds and the seventh intervals are the last in the ring of sound waves. They are so close to the tone center, that tonic, that the vibrations and reflections clash and scream at each other. So when children ask, why is the sky blue? The answer is scientific. By now, we all know that it's the only color that comes through the prism of light from outer space. So you might ask, why do some musical harmonies reflect a pleasing sound and others clash? The answer is scientific. It's the vibrations, the reflections of sound color. Sound color vibrations, those sound waves, either go in smooth lines against each other or they clash, and the tension comes. We can think of it as the color wheel of sound. Visually, in a color wheel, bright purple and bright red next to each other, let's say the vibrations or reflections are challenging to look at. Both have strong vibrations. That could be that minor second interval. Green and red, well, Merry Christmas. The peace of green and the happiness of red, that could be the major sixth or the major third interval reflections. Music in living color. The better our listening skills are, the more confident we will be in memorizing and performance. Just sharing some thoughts to help you recognize and identify your intervals faster, to understand harmony and how it works and how it doesn't work. We have only just begun. I have so much more to share with you on the training of relative harmony. So stay tuned. And by all means, we invite you to browse our website, www.pianotechnique.guide, if you would like to learn more about studies for advanced piano technique in an approachable manner. We are here to help you reach your goals.